Hey everyone, this is Tappers here again, and welcome back to the Mega Man 6 No Damage Buster Runs. Our next stop is Centaur Man, located in the ancient city of Greece, which is, I guess, also considered the lost city of Atlantis, as you can see right here. Now, technically, he is supposed to be a tour guide for an old archaeological museum, but I kind of have a hard time believing that with the current atmosphere we're seeing right now. Especially when we have enemies like pelicanas, which are pelipers that drop fish, and these jellyfish robots called SRU-21/P, which is pretty much the typical naming theme of jellyfish robots because I guess there's supposed to be some underlying meaning or whatever. But anyway, this is the water stage of the game, so we also have to have these Gabgo fishes that move back and forth and are not exactly threatening. But don't worry, we will see some very threatening ones later on this game, just a bit later. We also have wall blasters, but who cares, they're not threatening. And then we get this section with this distorted water that moves up and down and can kind of affect your buoyancy, along with the annoying enemies called Chocoros, which are two-legged frogs that bounce around, sometimes shooting at energy pellets, and we're finally done with them. We have a forced weapon use in order to get past these pookers that block our way. No other way to deal with them, and we don't have to ride them at least. So here's a little profile that I'll talk about after we meet one of the stupidest enemies in the game, a submarine flyer, because submarines totally can fly using a cloud to propel them and all that. Anyway, Centaur Man, his Centaur Flash can bend dimensions, but at the cost of a large amount of energy to be consumed. Drop dead into the dimensions, which translates to Dimension the Dice! Except it really doesn't. His other quote is fall into a hole in space, because that sounds totally redundant. A good point, he's decisive. A bad point, he dwells on things, because he's a water dweller and all that. Also, this is a Squidon, a very annoying mini-boss that shoots homing missiles that take 2 shots to destroy, and also shoots ice blocks. Also note that those missiles pretty much disappear a split second after the boss explodes, so you can still technically get hit by him. That top section right there was the actual boss gate, which if you go in there using the Rush Jet adapter, you can get a beat letter, but we don't care about that at all. Anyway, he likes gambling because he uses the Centaur Flash to freeze you in place, as you'll eventually see. And he dislikes whips because, well, he's a half bot, half horse. I mean, he's a horse, don't you know? Because he's got real horse hair if you see his portrait. Anyway, Centaur Man's a really tricky fight to defeat him Buster only no damage, because he warps around the room, tries to telefrag you. He shoots this Buster that hits the wall and splits into 100,000 pellet shots. In order to dodge that, you want to stand in between these 2 blue pillars, and you'll dodge it every time. But also, you need to be careful of Centaur Man's very large hitbox when he moves across the room, and the fact that the screen lags a lot when there's a ton of projectiles. But as long as you know to manipulate his location of when where he reappears, you'll be able to dodge all his attacks just fine, just as long as you give yourself enough space if he moves across the room. So by defeating Centaur Man, we get the Centaur Flash, which is this game's screen nuke, kind of like the Gravity Hold and some other weapons I can't think of. But of course we're not going to use it because obvious rules. So with 4 down, we have 4 left. Next time we will face off against Nightman in a pretty cool clash. See you then.